Welcome back, race fans, to Northern Italy, to Autodromo di Franciacorta Daniel Bernardo, where we're going to see the final race of the weekend for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. The Elite 1 division are out there on circuit, ready for their final 25 laps around this 2.5 kilometre circuit. Fairly new circuit that was extended to its current format in 2008, but there have been changes to turn number 5 and turn number 6 for this weekend, which the drivers are loving the fast kink through the left-hand turn number 5. Now, we've already had some excellent racing over the course of this weekend, and let's look back at some of the highlights from yesterday's racing. Well, that was yesterday here at Autodromo di Franciacorta, Daniel Bernardo, where Alan Day scored his 13th victory in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series and his third victory of the 3 races we've had so far. It's Mark Werrell that's talking to you now, but I'm delighted to say joining me in the commentary box for this race that's coming up is the Elite 2 driver driving the Ford Mustang for Brax Racing, and it's Pedro Bonnet who has come to join me in the commentary box. Pedro, we've seen some great racing throughout the course of the weekend. The final race for Elite 1 is on the grid, and well, it's one we're going to look forward to.
Yeah, I look very much forward to the race. We have a very great weekend here, a lot of sun, a lot of people, and let's hope that our teammate can finish this one.
Yeah, well, your teammate, Mark Goossens, starts on the front row of the grid. It's the new style Chevrolet front end on that car as well. It's the only car on the grid that's got the new style front end, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very new from this season, and it wasn't ready for the first race, but we are happy to have it here for the final race of the Franciacorta race here.
So the cars are lining up on the grid. You've driven around this circuit. It's the first time that you've seen this circuit coming into this weekend. Mark Goossens was in the commentary box for your race earlier on. He was saying, it's a very, very physical circuit. It's quite draining on the body.
Yeah, it's very demanding for the car, but also for the driver. It's a 40-minute race. Can be extended a little bit with a safety car, but when you're going out of the car, you need some water for sure.
It's warm conditions. You can see the enormous crowd that are gathered here at Franciacorta, and the new kink. Most of the drivers have been saying through turn number 5, turn number 6, where we've had the changes to the circuit. You wouldn't have raced here last year, but is that section of the circuit, the fast left-hand kink at turn 5, the new corner, one that you've enjoyed this weekend?
It's a very tricky one because normally you have the little chicane there. Now you have some more speed there, but yeah, it's a very tricky point to brake and to turn 6. There was yesterday also a lot of crashes there. So yeah.
And what's the most difficult corner on the track from your perspective?
I think it will be turn 11 because you have a very straight line. We have a good speed there. It's one of the last corners before start-finish, so everyone will love to gain some places there, and there's also a lot of happening there in turn 11.
There certainly has been, yeah. So turn 11 is the right-hand hairpin that then brings us up to turn 12 and the end of the 2.504 kilometre circuit, or 1.556 miles here in northern part of Italy. We're about 70 kilometres east of Milan. So the cars are on the grid. Let's just guide you through the grid at this stage. So you can see the yellow car that sits there on pole position for this one. The grid formed as per the fastest laps that were set in yesterday's race, and on pole position it's the number 54 Cal Racing Chevrolet of the reigning champion Alan Day that sits there on the front row of the grid. Alongside him is the number 91 car. It's blue with the day glow flashes to it. You can't quite see it. There's people around. There it is, as we look from the back of the grid looking forward. It's the number 91 Chevrolet from Brax Racing of Mark Goosens, hoping for better fortunes. He's had a difficult start to the 2018 season. The second row of the grid, it's the Michu Motors Chevrolet of Luca Lassar, a double former champion is Luca, secured this championship back in 2009-2010. That's the light blue car you can see to the right hand side of your screen, and alongside is the black car with the stripes down the centre of it, car number 50, Loris Heismans at the wheel of the Hendricks Motorsport run Ford Mustang. The third row of the grid, it's a double former champion, the runner-up from last year for PK Carsport, who've had a great weekend so far, Anthony Kumpen at the wheel of his Chevrolet, and alongside is the white and black car with T-Pack livery down the back of it. It's the first Toyota we've got on the grid, the Toyota Camry from RDV Competition, of twice a runner-up in this championship, a man who's never won in Italy, Fred Gabillon, number 3. The fourth row of the grid, car number 9, Gianmarco Ercole, had a good weekend and a good start to his season for Racers Motorsport, the Ford Mustang going well. And alongside is where we see number 37, the Knauf racing car of Toma Ferrando. Gianmarco Ercole claimed his first podium in Elite 1 yesterday, so he'll be hoping for great things this weekend, as will the car on the inside of the fifth row of the grid. Francisco Cini, the Solaris Motorsport Ford Mustang, didn't have a good run yesterday, but at his local circuit, the team that are based not too far away, Solaris Motorsport, will be hoping that Francesco can bring the car home in a good position. And alongside him is number 66. That's the deck sweat green liveried car you can see from the tail end of it, which is Formula Mans winner Christophe Bouchou. The next row of the grid, driver that joined us in the commentary box yesterday, which is Stinis Longin for PK Carsport, the number 11 Chevrolet, has for company the new team for this weekend, the Belgian Driver Academy, number 7 Chevrolet, in the hands of Martin Dubec. When we head on to the next row of the grid, the number 41 car, which you can see with the Dinoil livery down the back of it, the black car with the day glow flashes to it, that's Fabrizio Amata at the wheel of the Club Motorsport Ford Mustang, and alongside him is the black and blue Knauf racing team car in the hands of Wilfried Busena, who's had a busy weekend. He races in both Elite 2 and in Elite 1 as well. The next row of the grid sees car number 77, the exclusive Cars SE supported car of the Swedish driver Alexander Graf for Memphis Racing, and alongside him is Roman Imnieta at the wheel of the new team for this year, Go Fast Racing, who've made a real impression in the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. The next row of the grid, the Yako supported black and light green car in the hands of the 2000 Monster Energy NASCAR champion Bobby Labonte, and let's not forget, only 24 hours remain if you want to vote for the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Bobby is one of the nominees for this year, so get your votes in. We're impartial when it comes to voting, but don't forget, if you are a fan of NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, he's the only nominee that is in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, so I think you really know where your vote ought to go. The next row of the grid, well, alongside him is the number 27 car of Angelo Rigari for BVR Motorsport, the Ford Mustang. The next row of the grid sees number 46, Justin Kuntz, line up alongside a gap where Julian Schell should have been. That car's had problems, so the Pegasus Racing Chevrolet will not be out as the drivers are told now to start their engines. And the final few rows of the grid, number 1, Alex Caffey, a driver who grew up just 5 kilometres away from this circuit. You can see his all-black car there on that row of the grid. Alongside him is the sister car as well, Kenko Miura, at the wheel of the Alex Caffey prepared Toyota Camry. So an all Alex Caffey row of the grid there. And the final few rows, number 8, Dario Carzo alongside number 56, Alex Ciompi from Cal Racing, the number 56 car. The next row of the grid sees Mauro Trione, number 31, for Race Art, his light blue car with the orange flash right the way down the centre of it, has for company number 47, Marconi Abreu. The penultimate row of the grid is number 78 for Brax Racing, Jerry De Vert, as you look towards his car, towards the tail end of the grid. And alongside him is number 44, which is Matthias Hauer. And the final row of the grid should be there. Hopefully he should be there. Can't quite see the car on the cameras yet, but Miguel Angel Dere Perez should be sitting there on the final row of the grid. So a full grid of cars, Pedro. We've got an enormous crowd that are here. You can see the grandstand's pretty much full, the roof of race control, and all the way along the pit straight. An enormous crowd here in perfect conditions from the spectating point of view. From a driver's point of view, as we've said, you know, it's going to be warm, it's going to be tiring as they head off on their final warming up lap prior to the 25 lap race. So they work their way around the circuit. warm conditions, we've said it earlier on, the BF Goodrich tyre, it's the same compound as was used last year in the championship, and in these warm conditions you've got a bit of work to do to build that temperature prior to the start.
Yeah, you need to do it in a proper way, because you have to do some great tire management. You have to do the 2 races with that tires, and also bring 2 of the best tires to the next race. So tire management is very important, and here with hot weather is choosing between go for the fastest lap or earning some great points.
It's a trade-off, isn't it, in qualifying and in race 1, where you really need fast laps, but by putting the fast laps in you take more out of your tyres, which affects you later on in the weekend. So as you say, it's a real fine balance to find, isn't it, as a race driver?
Yeah, you race for the best position, but also sometimes during the race you get some time back to lose some pressure off the tires, and to go for a fastest lap, to take that hopefully for a good start in the next race, because the fastest lap in the previous race counts for the next one.
Well, if you didn't tune in yesterday to the Elite 1 race, the victory went the way of the number 54 car that starts from pole position, Alan Day, with his 13th of the season. Second was number 3 for RDV competition, the Toyota Camry of Fred Gabillon, and the podium was completed by the number 9 car from Racers Motorsport, which was Gianmarco Ercoli. Now, we had a fair amount of safety car laps in Elite 1 yesterday. The race actually finished under safety car. We thought we might get a green-white checkered, but we are hopefully going to have a slightly better race with more full greens than we saw yesterday, and I gather there is going to be an extra formation lap for these cars. Now that, I'm assuming, is just to allow them once more, Pedro, to build a bit more temperature into not just the tyres but also the brakes as well.
And also for the audience, but no, an extra lap is great to give you as a driver some extra comfort, and heating up is very important, because the first 2 turns is hopefully stay out of the crash, because after that start the race.
Yeah, and well, it'll also allow them to sort of bunch the pack as tightly as they possibly can. The first 3 corners, I'm going to ask the same question to you as I asked Mark Goossens earlier on. The first 3 corners are all right-handed corners, so if you are in the even numbers, so 2nd or 4th or 6th on the grid, you've got to go around the outside at all 3 of those, which must be quite difficult.
It happened to me in the morning. I was at the outside, so you must be very easy on the first 2 or 3 laps. We are 3 wide there, so stay out of the trouble, and the race starts after turn 3 or turn 4.
And that's when you sort of roll your sleeves up and push on. So cars weaving from side to side. Just to pick out the colours then again, it's the yellow Cal Racing number 54 Chevrolet of the reigning champion, of the driver that has won all 3 races of the 3 we've had so far this year, Alan Day. He is 7 wins away from matching the record of wins of what is Ander Villarino, who is on 20 wins. He matched the record of pole positions yesterday with Ander Villarino, and we've already, by the look of things, we've got a car off. That's a Go Fast car, is it not? That is Roman Iniesta, so that could be the reason for the additional warming up lap. So Roman Iniesta's Go Fast Racing car we did not see pull off, but the Mustang is off there on the left-hand side of the circuit at turn number 4, and that's being sort of hauled out of the way now. On the basis of we're on the green flag warming up lap, that can, Pedro, only be some sort of mechanical problem for the car, which is a real shame that he's retired before the race has even started.
Yeah, let's hope it isn't the fuel, but I think indeed it's a mechanical failure, so unfortunately he can start the race.
So for Roman Iniesta, that is a real shame for him. He's going to have to try and bounce back later on over the course of the season. He won a race at Brands Hatch previously, so Brands Hatch is a circuit that he knows. He'll be hoping for better things when we head to the UK in only 3 weeks' time there for American Speedfest 6 over the weekend of the 9th and 10th of June there in the south of the UK in Kent. On the Indy circuit, a very short circuit, just 1.2 miles. So 2-kilometre circuit, and we will look forward to heading there as well. And then after that, we then head to Tour Speedway in France on the 30th of June and the 1st of July for what is the World Oval Challenge for that weekend. And we will look forward to what is going to be, for the Elite 1 race, a €10,000 purse for the winner. Elite 2 winner will get €5,000, so that is something really to go for when you're in France as well. And we're going to see, I think, another formation lap. We haven't quite as yet managed to get the car of Roman Iniesta cleared out of harm's way, so there will be a further green flag lap before we can then hopefully get some racing underway here for our final race of the weekend. It's your first season in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, Pedro. It's a great atmosphere, isn't it? Every event you go to, Valencia was a different atmosphere to here in Italy. Brands Hatch, I think, in terms of the crowds, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in the calendar. So each event is quite unique. Do you think the same?
Yeah, there's nothing like the NASCAR Euro Series. I think you have more or less a cup racing. 30 cars with the same goals. You want to win. You want to earn some great points. A lot of damages for sure. We've been there yesterday and today. So I think the series growing every year, and I think we didn't see the last of it.
If you look at what's happened here in Italy over the course of the last few seasons, Alan Day has been the man to beat. He's been fastest in each one of those sessions. The man you'll be cheering for, without question, will be on the front row of the grid alongside him, Mark Goossens, who has had a difficult start to the year. He's got the pace, but Alan Day has been a tough man to beat so far this year. Do you think Mark Goossens might be able to do it?
Yeah, Mark has a lot of experience. He's always quick. He drives clean, but we can also say it from Alan. Alan is a great guy, a good driver, clean as well. And I think when you get out of the first three corners and who's then on lead, it's difficult to beat him.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see. We've got 25 laps of racing ahead of us. Whilst we've had extra green flag laps, that does not mean that we're going to reduce the distance for this race. So it's still scheduled to be a 25-lap race, which is around about 63 kilometres. We will go green next time through as well. So we're going to get our final race of the weekend underway here in a few moments' time. And as the safety car brings them up towards turn number 8 and then on towards turn number 9, when they get to turn 10, which is the start of the big long straight that brings them up to turn number 11. That's when the instruction will be given by race control to the spotters and to the drivers as well, that they need to get themselves into 2 rows, so side-by-side formation, door to door, with the car to the side of you, whether it be the left or the right, depending on which side of the grid that you're on, bumper to bumper, to the car ahead of you and the car behind. And when the green flag is waved and the green lights come on from the gantry, you still have to remain in those rows until you get to the control line. So race control is just making sure that everybody is ready now. You can see the cars starting to get themselves into 2x2 formation. And as a driver, Pedro, this is where then the nerves start to build. As soon as everything goes green, you forget those nerves, don't you?
Most important thing to stay very calm there, but that's also very difficult. But yeah, when you see the sign of 2x2, yeah, your pressure going up.
And one final question before we get the race underway. How important are the spotters around a tight and twisty circuit like we have here in Franciacorta?
Spotter is everything. You must have confidence in him. He must see everything. He must calm you down. He must give you some extra boost. Without a great spotter, it's yeah, you lose some spots.
So whilst you're doing what you need to do out on circuit, motorsport is a team sport, and we're about to see as to which team is going to walk away with the honours in the final race of the weekend here for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. They build up towards the start-finish line, neat 2x2 order, side by side. Now that is very much side by side at the front row of the grid. Buckle up, we're about to go green here in Franciacorta for the final time this weekend. Alan Day on pole position. It's Mark Goossens that's alongside. The green flag is about to be waved and away we go. It is Alan Day that gets a great start and is going to head up towards turn 1 ahead of Mark Goossens in second position. Third place is Luca Lassar, who sits there in third place, but Loris Huysmans at the wheel of the number 50 Hendricks Motorsport car, trying to go around the outside, eventually has to tuck himself back into fourth position, but Alan Day leads. Mark Goossens is second, Luca Lassar is there in third place, Loris Huysmans is in fourth, Fred Gabillon's in fifth, and it looks like it's Anthony Kumpen that's slotted through into sixth position. Now thankfully it looks like everybody has got through the first couple of corners, and as you suggested, Pedro, once you've got the first couple of corners out of the way, it starts to hopefully just settle down a bit.
Yeah, I think the race can begin now. The guys up front are very quick whole weekend, and let's hope for Mark that he can gain the first place back, and yeah, let's hope we have a clean race.
Well, it's the reigning champion that leads ahead of the man who won it the final round of the 2017 season in Zolder. The double champion, Luca Lassar, sitting there in third position. Loris Huismans in fourth place. There's a big spin further back, and that is Mauro Trioni, who I think has gone off at the wheel of the race art car. Just a harmless 360 now. I don't think there'll be any damage for him. Locked brakes from Angelo Rigari as he manages to anchor the car up and turn in towards turn 11. But over the start-finish line, already Alan Day is looking to try and put daylight between himself and Mark Goossens in second position, with cars queuing up. You can see nose to tail everybody, and I think everybody has made it through. I've got to say, Pedro, the nose of that car, the new Camaro that is behind or underneath Mark Goossens, looks absolutely stunning, doesn't it? Beautiful looking car.
Yeah, it looks very great. I race Ford Mustang, but I must talk with our team boss, I believe.
Yeah, Jerry DeVert is the team boss. We've seen plenty of him over the course of this weekend. Alan Day is sort of scampering away at this stage, and despite everything that Mark Goossens and Luca Lassar are looking to do, it looks as though the Israeli is building a little bit of a lead at the wheel of the Cal Racing number 54 Chevrolet SS. It's Chevrolet's first, second and third at the moment. It's the Ford Mustang of Loris Huismans that sits there in fourth place, and well, Fred Gabion at the wheel of that white and black Toyota, one of a few Toyotas we've got in the race, is sitting there in fifth position as they head round through turn 11. They're on lap number 2. Lap number 3 is about to be started, and well, the pace that Alan Day has had, he's scampered away in the lead, is clearly pushing hard, Pedro, but we've got tyres to consider on a hot warm day. Do you think that might mean that the gap closes up later on in the race?
Yeah, we are now 2 or 3 rounds further, and I didn't think that the gap is going to increase. So let's wait 2 more rounds, and let's see what Mark can do. Already we have 1.5 seconds, so it will be difficult to beat Alan.
Yeah, Alan Day 1.5 seconds up the road from Mark Goossens. Then there's a gap back of about 3/4 of a second after Mark Goossens back to Lucas Lassar, with Loris Huismans not too far away as well. There's a good little squabble that's going on. That's for positions mid-teens as things currently stand. Angelo Rigari fighting away with the number 77 car, which gets spun around. So that is Alexander Graf, and contact with Alex Jompi right in the side of the number 77 car. That's at turn number 7. They will certainly the number 77 car of Alexander Graf, a multiple Swedish V8 champion, gets going, but Alex Jompi is a little bit slower away. Didn't quite see whether there was contact there or whether Alexander Graf just got on the throttle too quickly, but either way, looks as though Alexander Graf has dropped down through the order but is continuing with not a great deal of damage. Whether Alex Jompi can get going or not, we just don't know. So turn number 7, it's a difficult corner, is it not, turn number 7? Particularly as you power on the way out of it, the car's really trying to sort of struggle to get grip and adhesion, is it not, Pedro?
Yeah, you must choose between first gear or second gear. It's too low for second, but it's too aggressive for first, so you have to build your speed up, and it's very important to have a great exit there.
Well, I think investigations are going to be made as to whether there was or wasn't contact there between the two of those, and then any appropriate decisions will be taken by the race director. Alan Day leads. The gap has now extended. It's up to about 2 seconds between first and second position. It's still 3/4 of a second between Mark Goossens in second place and Luca Lassar, who sits there in third place. So those two are still busy squabbling away. Loris Huismans is not that far away. He still sits there in fourth position at this stage. And we've got some other great little fights going on elsewhere down through the order. There is the number 66 deck sweat car of Christophe Bouchou we just saw heading round through turn number 10. And as they head up towards the braking area for turn number 10 now, there goes Anthony Kumpen, who is in 6th position at the moment. So Anthony Kumpen, runner-up last year in the championship. He is a double champion as well. He secured the championship first of all back in 2014. He secured it again in 2016, but he's sitting there in the PK Car Sport number 24 car in 6th place at the moment. 7th place is Tomo Ferrando, and there is a problem for number 41, and that is going to be Fabrizio Amata at the wheel of the Club Motorsport Ford Mustang that has got some sort of problem. That looks as though, Pedro, it might be the exit of turn number 10 where the car has ground to a halt, and it's not in a safe place, is it there?
No, I believe he was involved in an earlier crash a couple of turns ago, so also mechanical, but it's not a great position to stand there.
So we may or may not have a caution, depending on what he's deemed. It is the exit of turn number 10. You can just see the car there. It's off the line, but it's close enough so as to cause a little bit of concern for the race officials, potentially. So race continues for the moment, and we will wait and see as to whether the marshals can get to the car or whether we might need a slight caution. There's a little bit of bodywork, is there not? Just flapping on the number 9 car of Gianmarco Ercoli, who had a good run yesterday, did Gianmarco. And as they now head up towards the braking area for turn number 11, Francisco Sini sideways under braking heading in towards turn number 11. He's got Christophe Bouchou, the deck sweat supported car, the number 66 machine in the hands of the former Le Mans winner, sitting directly behind him, and Stinis Longin, who joined us in the commentary box yesterday for the Elite 2 race, is sitting in car number 11 in 11th place currently. Alan Day, our race leader, is heading towards what is potentially a perfect weekend for him. He has led all of the sessions so far this weekend. He almost had a perfect weekend last year as well. The only thing he didn't do was get pole position for the first race of the weekend. That went the way of Fred Gabillon. So maybe he's going to put that right this year with a perfect set of results as far as he is concerned. Marshall still with the stricken car on the edge of the circuit of Fabrizio Amata. Club Motorsport car not going anywhere at the moment, and looks as though the safety car is indeed coming out for that stricken car, so the pace will slow, and well, not because of an incident this time, it's just because of that stricken car you can see in the distance there. And for Alan Day, and how frustrating as a driver would it be for Alan Day, who's worked hard, he's built up the advantage, he will be keeping his fingers crossed there's no safety cars, and then out comes the safety car, Pedro. It's something we're used to in NASCAR racing, but it must be frustrating still.
It depends on what position you are. Yesterday we don't have a safety car, so I think that's very unusual in NASCAR. But now it's a second chance for the top 3 drivers to go for the first spot. Alan have a great race, a great weekend. So, but as you said, NASCAR, when the safety car is on, yeah, the race starts again.
So as this is Elite 1, then we can look towards our cars who are leading the particular categories. Of course, Alan Day leads overall in the race. The leader at this stage of the Junior Trophy is going to be Loris Huysmans, who sits there in 4th position, the number 50 car. And the leader of the Challenger Trophy, which is for amateur drivers, we will get to in a second, because keep your questions coming. Those of you watching online, we're getting some excellent questions coming in, and one of the questions is it's Angelo Regari, is it, that leads the Challenger category? We'll come to that in a few moments. One of the questions is a NASCAR a homologated chassis, Pedro? So in terms of the makeup of all of these cars, they're identical, aren't they? Built to the same regulations.
Yeah, the outside is we have several cars. You have the Camaros. You have 3 at the moment. You have the Ford. You have the Camaro, and the third one we don't have in our team, the Toyota for sure. But the engine is everything the same. So inside it's proper cup racing. So it's a 400 brake horsepower, which is what is the power that they put out. The weight of the cars is 1,210 kilograms, there or thereabouts, which equates to almost 2,600 pounds. And it's the same concept as in the US in reality, but it is subtly different for Europe. The concept is the same, but it's just some slight tweaks to match the European specification circuits we have, which are subtly different to those that we see in the US. And unlike the US, Pedro, you know, we have most of our races on road courses. The only oval we have this year is Tour in France, which I'm sure you're really looking forward to. It will be a great one. You have a lapse of 18 or 19 seconds, I think, and when you see what can happen on a normal track, I invite the spectators to come, because I think you see a lot of damage there.
It's going to be a busy race, isn't it? That's for sure. You've clearly heard as to what it was like when we visited Tour a few years ago. Yeah. You think this circuit is busy? It's going to be busy for you at Tour. You'll need to lie down after the weekend in France over the course of the 30th of June and the 1st of July. But you know, tight racing, rubbing is racing at the end of the day. So under safety car, don't think it will take too long to get the stricken Ford Mustang of Fabrizio Amata out of harm's way. A shame that we have lost that number 41 car of Fabrizio Amata, but whilst he's out of harm's way, and hopefully we can then very quickly get the race back underway. Of course, poor old Julien Schell not even able to start this race. He missed the Elite 2 race earlier on because they had problems with that car from yesterday, which despite all of the hard work and efforts by Pegasus Racing, they just couldn't get that car back onto the grid. So such a shame for Julien Schell, but I'm sure he will bounce back at Speedfest 5 at Brands Hatch when we head there in just a few weekends' time. Speedfest 6 at Brands Hatch in just a few weeks' time for rounds 5 and 6 of the championship. So under safety car, it looks as though that car that was at the exit of turn number 4 on the left-hand side has now been moved out of harm's way, and we will wait and see as to whether any reordering needs doing and whether any cars need a free pass before we can then perhaps get back to green flag racing at this stage. We're on lap number 8 of the scheduled 25. The number 54 Cal Racing Chevrolet of Alan Day leads the race. Mark Goosens for Brax Racing, the number 91 Chevy with that new front end on it, of course, sitting there in second place. Third place is a double former champion, number 33 Luca Lasarp, so it's a Chevy 1-2-3. Loris Heismans is the leading car that we've got in the Junior Trophy at this stage. He sits there in 4th position, car number 50. He's the first Ford as well. And 5th place is Fred Gabion, the number 3 car from RDV Competition, the Toyota Camry, with Anthony Kumpen completing the top 6. Where's Bobby Labonte? Well, car number 18, the Yakko supported Toyota Camry of Bobby Labonte, is currently in 15th place the way things stand. Well, Bobby will be hoping that he can maybe gain a few more places from there. The next circuit we go to, which is Brands Hatch, Bobby did race that last year, made a one-off appearance at Brands Hatch and worked his way from the back of the grid up to 10th position. So it's a circuit he's familiar with, and we are hoping that Bobby is going to have another great weekend here. It's a long way to travel. He's got, of course, the time zones, the differences, the sleep deprivation, the jet lag to get over when he arrives at the circuit, and he's heading to circuits that he doesn't know in a car which is slowly becoming more familiar. But we are so happy to have the 1999 Busch champion with us, and of course he was the 2000 Monster Energy champion in what was a fantastic career in NASCAR for Bobby Labonte. It was something like 729 races, if memory serves me correctly, and a further 200 and something in the Infinity Series as well. So that was across a 25-year career, and of course the NASCAR Hall of Fame he is a nominee for this year, and voting finishes tomorrow as well, so get your votes in for the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And there is an online look at our online content. We had an interview with Bobby. There he goes there with a little bit of damage to the front end of his car, the number 18 car. We had a quick chat with Bobby, and that interview is on social media, on Twitter and on Facebook as well, where he said he's just happy. You know, some of the names that are fellow nominees with him, he knows he is in great company, and he's just so honoured to have been nominated, regardless of what the outcome is. You know, when you think that you've got Jeff Gordon is one of the nominees for this year, then you know he's just happy to be part of it. So I think we might be going green at the end of this lap, Pedro. You can see the car still weaving from side to side, trying to maintain that tyre temperature, are they not?
Yeah, that's very important. Keep the tires at the right pressure, the brakes, and get the focus back. And when the lights are green, you must be prepared and full attack in the first second.
So we're looking towards Alan Day. He's so far this weekend had very good restarts. We had 2 safety car periods yesterday, as well as the race start, and each time on those rolling starts, the 1 rolling start and the 2 safety car restarts, Alan Day nailed them. His reactions were so quick. He instantly was able to pull away from the cars behind, and actually, rather than hug the middle part of the circuit, he was able to move to the far left of the circuit to take a wide sweep in towards turn number 1. The contact between a couple of cars out on circuit, which was number 73 Wilfried Busenna and number 77 Alexander Graf, well, it has been deemed that Wilfried Busenna was the man who was guilty, the guilty party, so it's a drive-through penalty for what has been deemed by the race director as an avoidable collision. So that is going to drop Wilfried Busenna down through the order once he conducts that drive-through. So back to 2x2 order. And well, this is the point, as I was suggesting earlier on, when you're where Mark Goosens is, second, when you're where Lucas Lasar is, which is 4th, when you're Fred Gabion, which is 6th, you're on the outside line heading up to turn number 1, and it's not easy.
No, it's not easy because you have here the first corners to the right, so keep it clean and hopefully with no crashes to turn 4, and then go for a great race.
Well, they made it through turn number 1 pretty much unscathed when the race got underway. We're now about to start what will be lap number 10 of the scheduled 25 next time through. There you can still see the damage to the front left corner of Bobby Labonte's car. And as we are now in neat order, so it's nose to tail, door to door, wait for the green flag to be waved from the gantry or the green lights to come on, subject to what the officials choose to do. Nice and neat and side by side. They can't jink out from the line until they get to the control line, but already they've done it again, jinked out from behind the line. Now, was that Gianmarco Ercoli? We've got somebody on the grass on the left-hand side. Alan Day is there. It's Stinis Longines by the look of things, and it looks as though Luca Lassar has managed to dive up the inside of Mark Goossens. Well, Luca Lassar was in third place, and Mark Goossens couldn't quite close the door in time, and that's that difficult thing that we were talking about. There's somebody very, very sideways further back that has gathered it up. Now, that was either Angel Regaro or it might have been Christophe Bouchou that just got a little bit sideways. Couldn't quite tell which one of the pair it was, but Mark Goossens, very difficult restart when you're in that second position. He just couldn't quite, Pedro, close the door and stop Luca Lassar squeezing his way through at the wheel of the number 33 Mavi supported car.
No, you see a car come out of the line, so I think Mark get a little push, and yeah, he was surprised by the very fast reaction of the 33 guy.
It looks as though the car that had the spin was indeed Angelo Regari, so the BVR Motorsport Ford Mustang, I think, has got itself pointing back round in the right direction and will carry on. It is Alan Day that leads the race now, so it's the reigning champion from the former double champion in second place, the winner from Zolder at Belgium, the last round of the 2017 championship, sitting there in what is third position. And Longines, it is Stinis Longines, isn't it? It's on the grass. Whatever happened when he put his foot down, clearly something went wrong with that car, and he very quickly, sensible driving by the former Elite 2 champion, got out of the way to prevent cars sort of grabbing him and making contact.
Rounds, and you see the sign safety car, so yeah, unfortunately we must start all over again.
So back out of the pit lane, so Stinis Longines is okay, he's out of the car, and you can see him sort of gesticulating there on the tarmac. There's one car that rejoined from the pit lane, and that was, I think, Wilfried Busenna, the Knauf Racing number 73 car that came out directly behind the safety car and now has gone back past it. So Wilfried Busenna is showing down in 23rd position at the moment. Stinis Longines is heading back to his car so as to hopefully get behind the wheel and get it towed out of harm's way. And for Wilfried Busenna, that I think would be the free pass for him, because he was the first of the cars that would ultimately have been a lap down. So he gets the free pass, which means he's allowed to pass the safety car, join back on the queue and get the lap back. In reality, it should hopefully be a reasonably short safety car period. We need the field of cars to go past where the recovery unit is, ready to get the PK car sport number 11 machine of Stinis Longines out of the way. There's another car heading back out of the pit lane, and that's Jerry De Vert, is it not? That's the man behind Brax, behind the team that you race for. He's obviously had to dive into the pit lane, Pedro, with a problem, or maybe a drive-through penalty, but we'll wait and see.
Jerry is always a man with a plan, so I think you can see something nice to come.
Yeah, we haven't heard confirmation of a drive-through penalty for him, so I suspect it was just some sort of mechanical issue that he wanted checking out. There might have been a little bit of contact, and therefore he just wanted to make sure that everything was all right with the car. But for Jerry, that is going to drop him down through the order now, so he is now no longer on the lead lap. The first car that is off the lead lap is down in 24th position, which is the car that had the spin a few moments ago, the number 27 car of Angelo Regari. So he sits there off the lead lap. Jerry De Vert now at the wheel of his car has also gone off the lead lap as well. So we now have half distance almost, so we are on lap number 12, and we can look forward to at least hopefully another 13 laps, fingers crossed, of green flag racing. Now we've got lots going on here at the circuit throughout the course of the weekend. We're in a room, you won't be able to see the commentary box, you'll be watching the footage and listening, but we're in a room with no windows. But you arrived a little bit later on. I've been here sort of all day, but there was a fantastic aircraft show, and we've had grid walks and lots of interaction with the fans. It's something that I know yourself and all of the drivers love, isn't it? You know, the show that's put on, the fantastic air display that we had, and all the fans that are here, Pedro.
Yeah, it's always a big circus. People who coming here can do a lot of things for children, to have some fun, drink something. Today it was a nice air show with some stunt pilots, and yeah, people enjoy it.
It sounded low. We were inside here, and you could hear the noise of the planes. They must have been very low.
Yeah, our camera guy say it's strange because I don't get a permission to fly with my drone, and here they can fly with airplanes.
It was a great show. We'd like to see aircraft acrobatics, drone acrobatics, maybe not so much as well. So we look forward to hopefully seeing some of that footage, maybe on the edited highlights, which will be shown on the various TV stations and on the website later on as well. So, quick question for Pedro. That's coming from Steve, which thanks for sending it in, Steve. How do you train for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, he's asking? Do you use simulators or what do you do?
Yeah, for sure we have simulators. The best thing to do is go on track and have some test days. Because in simulators it's very great thing to do, but when something happens, you can push the refresh button and you don't have to pay extra money, or you don't get hurry by yourself. But the simulator for sure, we spend a lot of time in it, and it helps us a lot.
So that trains you for the circuits in terms of physical training as well? You have a regime as well that you do to keep physically fit, and dietitian as well? Yeah,
for sure. We have an whole crew of people here. They give us some the right thing to eat. They give them some great massages. We get a lot of salt products. Yeah. It's very hard, and here when you have to race in hot conditions, you need that.
I walked in on one of the massages in the motorhome yesterday. Yeah, I saw bits of Tom Bonan that I don't want to see again. Lots of kids, lots of families. It's great to make them feel part of this event as well. And I know some of the children have actually had the opportunity to sit in the cars as well. And how cool would that be? You know, I'm 45 now. If I were of an age, or even now, I'd still want to sit in one. So we are almost ready to hopefully go green again. The number 78 car of Jerry DeVert, which we saw come back out of the pit lane that went a lap down, has actually gone back into the pits again, and the hood is up as well, so maybe there's some sort of engine problem for that Brax racing car, which is an enormous shame really, Pedro, because Jerry is one of those drivers, is such an enthusiast. He's a very quick driver and such an enthusiast, and works very hard, doesn't he, because he's in both Elite 1 and Elite 2.
Yeah, Elite 1 and Elite 2 for sure. For us, we just do Elite 2. We are broke at the end of the day, and Jerry is a little bit older than me. Yeah, he does everything, so maybe it was a checkup for himself, I don't know.
Okay, so we're going to go green at the end of this lap. You can see themselves getting back into 2x2 order. We're at the halfway point of this race as well, so we're on lap number 13 of this final Elite 1 race for the fourth round of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, with races still to come at Brands Hatch, at Tour Speedway in France. Then we head for the semi-finals, double points when we get to Hockenheim in Germany, and double points also for Zolder in Belgium, the final couple of rounds as part of the American Festival NASCAR Finals. So it's 40 points for a race win that's on offer here, and Alan Day is looking to try and make it a clean sweep. Luca Lassar this time, who got the advantage because he was on the third place for the restart, is in second for this restart. So Mark Goosens is going to look to try and return the favour, one would have thought, as they head up towards turn number 1. So the green lights are on. We're about to get racing back underway here at Franciacorta. Great restart again by Alan Day, but can Lucas Lassar manage to squeeze his way through and hang on to second? No, Mark Goosens has returned the favour. They're side by side though, round through turn number 1 up towards turn number 2, and Mark Goosens has gone through, the Belgian driver for Brax Racing, into second place. Luca Lassar sitting there in third place. It's Loris Heisemans in fourth place. Fifth place is Fred Gabillon, and sixth place is Tomo Ferrando, by the look of things, at the wheel of the Knauf Racing number 37 car, as they flick their way through turn number 5 up towards turn number 6, and now onto the brakes for the left-hander at turn 7. It's again another good restart from Alan Day. It seems as though no matter how hard he drives that car, and no matter how much life he takes out of those tyres, he's still able to get the traction, Pedro.
Yeah, I think he's unbeatable here. He drives very clean, very fast, and you see how important it is to be on the right spot at the restart. Mark was at the inside at the third place, but he did a great move and he can pass inside, so let's hope he can drive to Allen, but he's very quick today.
He's very quick. The top three just getting away. Look at the pressure that Loris Heisemans is under in fourth position. He's got Fred Gabillon, twice a runner-up in this championship, all of the way behind him. The RDV competition, white and black Toyota Camry has not given up aspirations of being able to squeeze his way through. We gather there might be a drive-through penalty for number 77, Alexander Graf, for a jump start. So for the Swedish driver that had problems earlier on, of course, he was involved in a spin where he was deemed to be the innocent party, dropped him down through the order. Well, now he's now going to get a jump start, unfortunately, so a drive-through penalty for him, and also a drive-through penalty for Gianmarco Ercoli, we gather, also for a jump start. Now, that jump start will mean they've jinked out from behind the pack before the line, Pedro, and this is something that we have seen probably a bit too much of over the course of this weekend. The officials taking all of the right decisions, but we keep seeing it.
I get the same penalty for it, so
right.
It's not a great rule.
From a driver's perspective, not. And Bobby Labonte throws one up the inside. What a great move, right the way up the inside of Mauro Trioni. Mauro Trioni, though, returns the favour as he heads through turn number 9, side by side through turn 10. Lock brakes from Mauro Trioni. Bobby Labonte running a little bit wide coming out of turn number 10. Poised and ready to pounce is also Wilfried Busenna. This is going to be for 17th, 18th and 19th, and now we're 3 wide heading up towards turn number 11. Mauro Trioni again locks the brakes. Wilfried Busenna avoids the contact. Bobby Labonte has to go all the way around the outside, which compromises his run through turn number 12. Well, that was very, very, very close indeed, and Bobby Labonte had to call on all of his 25 years of NASCAR racing experience, and almost that alone ought to get him in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, because that was great driving, but he has lost out. Wilfried Busenna has now gone through, and ahead of the number 18 Yako supported car of Bobby Labonte, who has got the number 9 machine of Gianmarco Ercoli now right behind him. But Mauro Trioni threw everything at that there at the wheel of the Race Art light blue and orange number 31 car, and well, he ran side by side with a NASCAR champion, and that's something to dine out on at the end of this evening, you would have thought. You'd be telling the family about that, would you not, Pedro, if you did that?
Yeah, it's great to have some guy like Bobby Labonte here in the series. He is a great star in America, and that he makes some time and come to Europe every race again. Yeah, it's nice to see him in the paddock. He's a normal guy with extraordinary what he did in NASCAR America.
Yeah, it's great to see him here. Looking as though we might have a change for order here, and it's all getting very close again. Wilfried Busenna locking up the brakes. He's got 2 wheels on the grass. He runs side by side with Mauro Trioni and squeezes, I'm not quite sure, his way through. Then there's contact with Mauro Trioni, and off and onto the grass has gone Gianmarco Ercoli. So the number 9 car looking to recover. Not sure whether that might have a front left-hand puncture, maybe, that car. So Gianmarco Ercoli. Now that has happened just at the wrong spot, and you can see, the smoke coming from that part of the car, and it looks as though Mauro Trioni has also now got a little bit of damage to his time, to his car as well, and is still under pressure from the number 8 car in the hands of Dario Carzo. Trioni gets very, very sideways through turn number 3, all over the curbs, all over the grass, all through the gravel. Through has gone Dario Carzo, and also I think the Japanese driver Kenko Miura squeezed his way through as well, so it is getting very, very, very exciting out there. Doesn't matter where you look, could be at the front, could be at the back. There is action all the way here in this final race of the weekend, Pedro, and a few of the cars, including the Bobby Labonte, are now bearing the scars of how close it's been, are they not?
Every race is the same. It's a lot of you have a lot of incidents. That's a nice thing of the series, and it's great for the spectators. You can turn your eye off or blink with your eyes, or 3 things happened.
And next time they tell you it's difficult to pass in NASCAR, well, not at all, not one bit is it difficult to pass in NASCAR. So we are now on lap number 18 of the 25. Out front, it is still Alan Day that continues to lead, of course, from Mark Goossens in 2nd place, and Luca Lassar sitting there in 3rd place. That's the number 33 car of Lucas Lassar, the former champion from 2009 and 2010. But look behind him, Loris Heisman's at the wheel of the number 50 Hendricks Motorsport car is not that far away, and neither is the next of the cars as well, which is Fred Gabion, who still sits there in 5th position. Fred Gabion has had a very consistent start to the year, 2nd and a 3rd at Valencia. In yesterday's race he was 2nd, and he's heading towards a 5th here, and you can drop your worst score, Pedro, in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series in 2018, but you've still got to be consistent, haven't you? You can only afford one slip-up all season.
Yeah, you have 12 races, so anything can happen in every race. And if you have bad luck and something happened in the beginning of the season, it will be you can't make any more mistakes.
So for the moment. Oh, it looks like we get another drive-through penalty that's just being notified to us. Wilfried Busenna, the number 73 Knauf racing car, is going to have to serve a drive-through penalty as well for a transgression, some sort of issue that has been appropriate by the officials. And there is, if you look towards the bottom left of your screen, confirmation that Alan Day leads by 1.6 seconds from the Brax Racing number 91 car in the hands of Mark Goosens. That new front end to his Chevy for this weekend. Luca Lassar sitting there in third place. Mauro Trioni still looking as though he's really struggling with the number 31 Race Art machine at this stage, and that's one of those cars, I think, Pedro, that it's carrying a bit of damage, but it also has been driven so hard. I think his tyres have almost given up now.
Yeah, you see the time at Alan Day, Mark is now at 1.6 seconds. I believe it was a little bit more, so tyres are very important, and I think we can see some great more 6 laps.
So Alan Day might have worked those tyres a bit too hard, and now that Mark Goosens is beginning to gain a little ground, that must just like spur him on as much as possible. The fastest lap we've had in the race has been from Alan Day, a 1 minute 13.109 at this stage. We've got a few cars in the 1 minute 13s, but Mark Goosens is a 1 minute 13.4, so about 3/10 slower. Now that may well be that 3/10 might cost him early on in the race, but really allows him still to have some reasonably good BF Goodrich tyres underneath him for the end of the race. And we're now on lap number 20 as well, so we're into the final 5 laps of this race, and well, he's closing. Do you think he might catch him, Pedro?
At the moment it's now 1.8 seconds, but let's see, it's 5 or 6 more laps. There can be a safety car, Alan can make a mistake. It will be good for the several laps that come.
There might be some traffic as well, of course, which could come into play. The fight that we're looking at currently is for 18th and 19th position, which is Mauro Trioni, the Swiss driver, trying to hang on to the position. He's got the Swede, the multiple Swedish V8 champion, number 77, Alexander Graf, at the wheel of the Chevrolet right behind him. And there, up towards the braking area for turn number 11, well, Mark Goosens now is not going to be focused on catching Alan Day. He's going to be very much focused on keeping everybody behind him, because Luca Lassar, Loris Heismans and Fred Gabion have all started to close a little bit now. Mark Goosens has got Luca Lassar and Loris Heismans behind, but Fred Gabion is also quicker and is beginning to close up. So it's 3 cars fighting over 2nd, 3rd and 4th position, with the 5th place car also starting to close in as well. So that should be a good little battle, and you can see that Mark Goosens there coming out of turn number 3. The car's moving around. The driver is continually having to put steering input in to keep the car where he wants it.
I think the tires of Mark have suffering a lot. You see he's now at 3 seconds of Alan, so he must be very focused to keep the 2 guys in the back.
Yeah, so you sort of, forget the fact that you were looking for a race win. It's now just a case of making sure that you are getting onto the apexes of all the corners and getting cleanly off them as well. As long as you get clean off the corner, then it makes it very difficult for the guy behind, in this case Luca Lassar, to get close, and Mark Goosens is just making sure that he's covering off any move that Luca Lassar might throw at him. And here he goes, he's trying again. You can see the car just not grabbing the apex, it's washing out. He can't get that car turned into the apex, can he, Pedro?
No, when I see it here, I think Mark have very difficult in the car at the moment. He have a lot of experience, but yeah, it's very nice to drift with these cars, but it's not the fastest way to do.
We've got a yellow in turn 7 as things currently stand, which is the tight left-hander for reasons we know not what. It looks as though it was just briefly out. It has now subsequently come back in, so there's no issue there. Probably a spin for a car that's been able to continue. As inching up onto the coattails of Mark Goosens comes Luca Lassar. It's through this part of the circuit where Luca Lassar has better tyres because he's braver on the brakes. He can carry a bit more speed into the corners. There's a little nudge there as Luca Lassar maybe just gives Mark Goosens a nudge to let him know he's there. That will push Mark offline, so the two go side by side round through turn number 8 up towards turn number 9. A slightly wider line into turn number 9 might give Luca Lassar a cut back on the exit, and now he's having a quick sniff up the inside, is he? Mark Goosens covers that off as they head round through turn number 10. Luca Lassar has to be careful though. He's in 3rd position, but he's got Loris Heismans right behind him, and adding to the mix the Toyota Camry of Fred Gabion is catching all of the time. It's so close for 2nd, 3rd, 4th now, and almost 5th place, and all of this is allowing Alan Day to pull away in the lead of the race. We are on now at lap number 23, so 2 more laps to go for Alan Day, and a clean sweep here at Autodromo Franciacorta Daniel Banara. And for Mark Goosens, well, he's going to be very pleased, I would have thought, Pedro, to see the checkered flag, because, well, he's under pressure, and, well, any mistake at all, he might not even feature on the podium.
I think he is looking for a Belgian beer at the moment, so he's suffering a lot, but he's doing a great job. Yeah, you see the other guys are coming very close, but it's not easy with their tires.
I know, how good are these two? Look, just little touch, but nothing at all that is too ungentlemanly. It's very, very good driving on the very, very edge with the cars and the tyres that they've got underneath them at the moment. Luca Lassar, I think, without question, is the quicker of the two, but Mark Goosens is calling on all of that experience just to make sure he keeps the car where he needs. And this could be an opportunity for Luca Lassar, slightly quicker coming out of turn number 10. Mark Goosens covers over the inside line on the run up towards turn number 11. So Luca Lassar now switched to the opposite side to see what he might be able to do. And up at turn number 11, again, there is no opportunity. Loris Huysmans runs a little bit wide, and that might bring Fred Gabion into the mix at the wheel of the RVD Toyota Camry, as over the start-finish line onto what is now lap number 24 goes Alan Day, and it looks as though there's traffic just up the road. And, well, for Mark Goosens, he can't afford to be compromised by this slower traffic, but it is getting in the way by the look of things as they head round through turn number 3 and turn number 4. It was the 44 car, I think, of Matthias Hauer that saw them coming and eventually got out of the way. So the battle still continues, but it has just slightly split them up. We said there could be a safety car. We said that there might be a little bit of traffic, and, well, it just, Pedro, just got out of the way in time.
Yeah, when you see this, you don't need every time a safety car to look what a great racing it is. They are very professional drivers, very clean, and that's nice for the spectators to see something like that.
Yeah, they'll be holding their breath. Keep breathing, guys, if you're watching this. Please keep breathing, because we've still got another lap to go at this stage. Alan Day has now stormed away. He's 5 seconds up the road from all of this at this stage, and is heading towards yet another victory in Italy and yet another victory in Franciacorta. But can Mark Goosens hang on to second position? It looks as though he has had a very, very hard-fought race, and as they head round through turn number 11, through turn number 12, everything that Luca Lassar throws at Mark Goosens, Mark, at the moment, the Belgian driver, has an answer to the Frenchman, and you've still got the Dutch driver, Loris Huysmans, and the car of Fred Gabion, the Frenchman, closing up behind. They're not 4 cars yet, it's sort of a pair, and then another pair. So it's a pair for second and third, it's a pair for fourth and fifth, round through turn number 2, up towards turn number 3 for the final time. And as they now flick their way through turn number 4, time and opportunities are running out for Luca Lassar. If he wants to try and squeeze his way through and past Mark Goosens, it's this part of the circuit where the pair really close up Pedro, and he's almost pushing him round through turn number 7 again. That's the part of the circuit where Mark Goosens, Pedro, is really struggling.
Yeah, it's very tight cornering, and then there you need your tires the most. But yeah, what I can see now, I think Mark can. Oh yeah.
The key to it is getting out of 10 quickly, and he heads out of turn number 10. The car washes out a little bit wide, though. Luca Lassar is going to run alongside him as they head up towards turn number 11. They are side by side. Luca Lassar on the left-hand side of your screens has got the inside line, and he is going to squeeze his way through. Mark Goosens needs to close the door, though, to prevent Loris Huysmans squeezing his way through. And as they head through turn number 12, there's one last opportunity for Mark Goosens to try and return the favour on the charge to the line, but can't quite manage to do so. What a race that was for our final race of the weekend, and it is Alan Day that claims the win at this stage. Luca Lassar finishes in second position. Mark Goosens tried everything to hang on to third place, but it just wasn't to be. The tyres, the car, the driver, everything getting tired at the end of that race. But what a race it was, as Loris Huysmans finishes in fourth place. Well, we had the odd little safety car. Alan Day was able to scamper away, but that's only as a result of what was a great fight behind, Pedro.
Alan was superior this weekend, very clean racing, but indeed, what a great race we saw with 3 or 4 drivers in the back of Alan, and yeah, that's why people must come see the NASCAR Euro Whelen Series.
It doesn't get any better than that, does it? Great drivers, great cars, and it's pure racing in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Hang around if you want, but if you want to and need to go to celebrate with the team and enjoy it, then please feel free, Pedro. Either way, thank you for joining us in the commentary box, and hopefully we'll catch up with you at Brands Hatch.
With great pleasure. Bye-bye.
It's been great having you. Thank you, Pedro Bonet, for joining us, and we wish him all the very best. Safe journey home as well, Pedro. So we will see him at Brands Hatch for the next couple of rounds, rounds 5 and 6 of the championship, and it's Speedfest, American Speedfest 6 at Brands Hatch in the south of the UK on the Indy circuit there in Kent. So Alan Day last year here, this equivalent race meeting at Franciacorta. Alan Day didn't get on pole position for the first race of the weekend, but he did win that first race and set the fastest lap. And because he set the fastest lap, he started day 2 on pole position, and he won that. And he set the fastest lap. This weekend, Alan Day has been fastest in every single session. I think it's a perfect weekend for him and the number 54 Cal Racing Chevrolet SS. And for Alan Day, that's now his 14th career win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, his 4th consecutive win as well. And he only needs 6 more to catch Ander Villarino, who is the all-time record holder for wins in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. And, well, such has been the pace of the reigning champion, the Israeli driver, this weekend here at Autodromo di Franciacorta. You wouldn't rule it out. Confirmation then of the results. Number 54, Alan Day, claims the victory. Second is number 33, Luca Lassar, with third going the way of number 91, Mark Goosens. So it's a Chevy 1, 2, 3. Fourth place is the first Ford home, number 50, Loris Heismans, who I think, as a result of that, will probably secure honours in the junior trophy as well. We'll confirm all of that to you in a moment. Fifth place is number 3, which is Fred Gabion at the wheel of the Toyota. He's had a great start to the season. And sixth place is a double former champion, last year's runner-up, number 24, Anthony Kumpen at the wheel of his Chevrolet. Seventh place, 37, Thomas Ferrando. Eighth place is number 66, Christophe Bouchou with the Chevrolet. Ninth place is the Czech driver, number 7, which is Martin Dubek, completing the top 10. The first of the Italians home here, number 56, which is Alex Giompi. In 11th position, that's number 47, which is Marconi Abreu. He's the first of the Challenger Trophy competitors home. The junior trophy is for those drivers under 25 years of age. The Challenger Trophy is for amateur drivers that compete in the Elite One. So well done to Alex Giompi, first Italian home, on home soil, and of course claims top honours in the Challenger Trophy as well. 11th place is number 47, Marconi Abreu, and 12th, just to give you that, is the local man, Alex Caffey, at the wheel of his car, driver who runs his own team and, as we say, grew up just a matter of, 5 kilometres away from this circuit. So Alan Day is in victory lane there. You can see Arianna Casoli, who he shares that car with. Arianna races it in Elite 2, Alan Day in Elite 1. And the one more win for Alan Day would mean he would catch the record of 6 consecutive wins by Ander Villarino in 2013. Again, apologies for the pictures there. Alan Day looks absolutely shattered, and I'm not surprised because he has had just a fantastic weekend here, himself and all of the Cal Racing team. You can see just what it means to them to claim what is a clean sweep really this weekend. He's had the pace, the team have given him a good car, he's been able to manage the tyres as well, and well, for the hugely likeable reigning champion, he receives congratulations from Arianna Casoli. Great to see that, the two of them sharing the car, and well, he will be very, very pleased. You can see the smiles on the face of Alan Day, who gets out of the car, and considering the temperatures and considering how physical the circuit is, as we've heard from the likes of Mark Goosens and from Pedro Bonet, doesn't he just look cool and unfazed by it all, Alan Day? It's almost as though he could get back in and do it all again. He's going to get a quick drink of water. They've not even got a full bottle for him. Look, he's so cool, so calm, so collected, looking totally relaxed because, well, he's heading towards, in another few more race victories, potentially overhauling Ander Villarino's current record of 20 wins in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. The fans have enjoyed it as well. They'll be in their thousands flocking down to see the victory lane celebrations. They've still got some more support races to come here and all of the other on-circuit attractions also to keep them busy. And that's the same format. We'll go to Brands Hatch, and if you're in the UK and you're maybe watching this for the first time, or you're thinking you want to come and see for the first time some NASCAR Whelen Euro Series races, same format everywhere. We have 2 races on the Saturday, one for Elite 1, one for Elite 2, and then on a Sunday we have one for Elite 2, and the second race is for Elite 1, and we have a whole host of family attractions to keep you busy throughout the whole course of the weekend here. We will pack things away and we will head to Kent, to the UK, on the 9th and 10th of June for the 5th and 6th races of the season. In the meantime,
Alan,
I think we can head down to hear from the winner.
And now your 4th win here in Italy. How do you feel after winning this race again?
It's pretty hard in the car. but the car was fantastic. The team, car racing team, did an amazing job. All the mechanics, everybody. I'm so grateful and thankful for that. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm celebrating now, but I'm thinking about Brands Hatch. Brands Hatch is going to be difficult, although I won there, but I know that it's not going to be easy as here. Yeah, we think forward, and I'm sure we're all going to do a great job, and I'm happy. I'm so happy. I have no words, you know what I mean? I just have no words.
So you're dominating NASCAR Whelen Euro Series in 2018. What's your secret?
I think people don't realize it. I practice shit tons of time. I practice a lot. When I'm off racing, it's everything. My whole day is just motorsports. And that's what I do. I don't have any other job. Even my job is driving instructor. So that's what I do. And people need to understand that if they want to be good and to win races, they have to start working. This championship, the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, incredibly grow in the last few years, and the level now is incredibly high. And if you want to win, you have to work.
All right, thank you very much, and congratulations for your win.
Fantastic to hear from Alan. You can see him there receiving the congratulations of a double former champion, Luca Lassar, who came home and finished in second position with Mark Goossens in third place. Well, that's about it really from the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series here at Autodromo di Franciacorta. Daniel Benara. Thanks to Stinas Longines, who joined us in the commentary box yesterday. Thanks to our visitors, our visiting drivers, who joined us in the commentary box today. Mark Goossens for his help earlier on, and from Pedro Bonet, who we have just seen now. But as we say, we pack things away. We will head to Brands Hatch in the UK, in Kent, in around about 3 weeks' time. So from myself, Mark Weller, I hope you've enjoyed the action, but let's look forward to some of the things we can see at Brands Hatch for the next rounds of the championship. The NASCAR Whelen Euro Series returns to Brands Hatch in early June for American Speedfest 6. The event is a favourite with UK race fans and the drivers too. Thousands of fans flock to see their heroes and secure NASCAR Whelen Euro Series racing.